Hi guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be discussing the breaking news of Donald Trump and his wife Melania testing positive for COVID-19 as a result of one of his close advisors, Hope Hicks, also testing positive and showing symptoms. They are now self-isolating and the president is being overseen by the medical team. Now obviously this is quite critical to stocks, to the US as a country. I'm just going to be looking at from the stock side. Now, age, weight, and gender are all key risk factors for coronavirus. Being male, older, and overweight are things that are risks for Trump in this situation. It's very difficult to know what will happen here. There are various different scenarios that could play out. But, due to this uncertainty, I would expect a fall in US markets today and possibly the rest of the world as well. S&P futures are already down significantly and European equities are also down because of this news. There are lots of really, added things to this. The contract tracing around this particular breakout hasn't been completed yet, so this could be spread further throughout the administration. Now, I don't think there's been any talk of this, but for instance, if Vice President Pence were to test positive, that would be a huge problem for the administration. Obviously, there's been no murmurs of that, and I don't know how much contact they've had this week, but that's just, let's just say, an idea. It's also been suggested recently that those with symptoms are more contagious than those without, and Hope Hicks did have symptoms. Now, this might mean that Trump is more likely to get symptoms, but honestly, the scientists don't know right now. What we do know is this is going to cause uncertainty, a lot of uncertainty in the markets, and the markets hate uncertainty. I would expect them to fall today, as I said, and from there, it's difficult. You see, it could be a non-event. Trump could end up having no symptoms. He could recover. He could be perfectly fine, and after he's isolated, straight back to running the campaign and going to events and things. But there are other scenarios here. He could get symptoms. This could have a huge impact on the campaign, on his run for president. And, especially if he gets severe symptoms like Boris Johnson a few months ago, this could lead to a market sell-off that's large and sustained. And that could be a good opportunity for buying stocks, but also it could be trying to catch a falling knife. Now, I think there are other things here as well. This could, in some ways, be a positive event for Trump, or a negative. Even if he doesn't end up with symptoms, this might help him in the election. It's a bit of news that's come up and detracted from some negative press this week about the, let's call it shambles, that was presidential debate and his refusal to condemn white supremacist groups. But no matter what happens here, this could be a very interesting time to look at purchasing US stocks, to look at possible things to invest in. I'd say, look in the next few days if there's companies that you're interested in. This might cause a sell-off, and that'd be a great opportunity to buy in. Ultimately, it's just so uncertain. And that uncertainty creates a good opportunity for the savvy investor, but also lots of dangers. In case the sell-off is particularly sustained until, say, the election, until there's a clear idea of what's going to happen. I mean, as I said, this might lead to Pence stepping up if he is COVID-free. It might lead to, really severe problems for Trump. God forbid anything happening to him that would really cause a sell-off, I imagine. But honestly, based on what's happened already this year, it's difficult to know how the market's going to react to this. Now, this morning looking at this, it's fairly obvious that the market's going to fall today. Logically, anyway. But, I mean, it depends on how you interpret this information. Currently, I think they're saying he doesn't have symptoms. Obviously, his age at 74 makes him high risk. But he seems to still be being active. He can still work as president, from my understanding. Despite isolating, obviously it increases the challenges. But just as Boris Johnson allegedly kept working as Prime Minister, for at least at the beginning, it's going to be a very interesting time though. Now, as I said, this might be positive or negative for his campaign for a second term. Could be negative because he's made a big deal of saying how they've beaten the virus, he's done really well, and then, really taken shots at Biden for wearing masks, for being extra cautious, and then Trump's ended up with coronavirus. And it could be a pretty severe problem or a non-event. And he might lose votes because of this. But equally, he could gain them. From a sympathetic point of view, from a Trump's having to run the country, he's got coronavirus. As I said, it detracts from other news this week. It could be a really interesting story to follow. He obviously, it's difficult to know what the market's going to do, as I said, but it could really fall this week. And that could be an opportunity. Equally, obviously, it's an opportunity you don't really want, but you could take advantage of. I mean, no one wants anything to happen to the president. No one wants him to be ill. Most people don't want him to be ill. So I'd say, yeah, I mean, this is going to be an interesting time to watch. And I would, make watch lists, look at the stocks you're interested in, and see if they fall. But yeah, as I said, this will be an interesting story to continue to follow. And I do wish Trump a speedy recovery, and Melania. It's not nice for anyone to be infected with COVID. Doesn't matter what my political views are. It's also not good for the US as a country or the world, really, to have the president incapacitated in any way, despite what you think of the president and his actions. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. And once again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research and form your own opinions before investing. Thank you very much for watching.